my cousin. You know what I'm saying?
What's up?
Shout out to Gang.
What's up? Gang.
Shout out to Gang. Make sure hey, look, check me out. My beard looking precious.
Did he say precious?
Precious. Voluptuous. Juicy. Moist. Wet.
Pause.
How's that a pause?
Did you just call your beard voluptuous?
I call my beard voluptuous. I call my beard wet. I call it all of the above. Look at my fucking skin. Hey, cuz I ain't gonna lie, your skin popping too. This is no makeup. This is just, you know what I'm saying? This is just good genes.
Maybe we'll do like a raw and unfiltered.
You know what? We should get a Patreon.
Right.
And we should get a Patreon.
And we have
we should talk about what really
be going down. Put it behind a paywall.
Cause you gotta pay for that content.
You gotta pay.
And I feel like you got content.
Bruh.
You got stories.
Stories.
I would pay to hear.
On stories.
But luckily I'm your cousin and I hear them for free.
Look, I got so many stories. Like I got like different periods of my 20s. I got like 21 to 24.
Same.
24 to like 26, then 26 to 30.
Even with us just hanging out the past couple, like
it's not even been
weekly,
a year.
The past couple of months.
Right. Stories.
Stories.
I don't even drink anymore.
Stories.
I don't even drink anymore. I got stories.
It doesn't matter.
I think it does.
It doesn't matter.
I think it matters a little bit. Wild.
Let me make sure I don't got a camel toe like I did in the last video. Oh yeah, they getting more personality out of me this time. I'm going.
I feel so uncomfortable right now. What? Do we have an HR department yet?
Yeah. Richard. We got Richard in HR.
Richard in HR?
Richard in HR. Uh-huh. Yeah, you know? Richard at yougooddigital.com. You ready to get into it?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get into it. Before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe. Let me look at this camera. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, go follow my cousin on Instagram, OMIV Photos on Instagram. You dig what I'm saying? It's your boy Long Live Most. You can follow me on Instagram at Guy Langston _ That is my, I almost said my biological name. That is that's my real name. Follow me on Instagram. You dig what I'm saying? Like I said before, it's your boy Long Live Mosey.
Oscar.
And we here again on You Good Digital.
Yeah. We here.
So I've been having this thing that I work off of. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna cuss because YouTube really been cracking down. They started to demonetize people retroactively for cussing and using profanity and getting straight. You know what I'm saying? They getting straight to it.
They building the platform they want.
Before we even get started on the topics, let me ask you about that. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of musicians and artists, you know, they upload their music to YouTube. And a lot of the videos and the music that's been out don't have any, like, edited versions because it's all been on the net, you know, and there hasn't really been a big censorship on the net.
Right.
How do you think that's going to affect artists and content creators moving forward?
So it's definitely going to have a big impact because people are going to feel like they're being censored. They're going to complain and feel a type of way.
Right.
But a lot of the like photographers and content creators I follow, they always preach, have your own website, have your own stuff, and you could put your stuff up on your website.
Right.
So people are dependent on YouTube too heavily, I think, sometimes. It's like, put up your own website, drive traffic to your website, sell ads on your website, put stuff behind a paywall on your website and everything. Right. So it's like, you still need YouTube, you still need Instagram, but you also need to have your own. So you could put stuff up on your site that you might not be able to put up on YouTube. And you could drive people to your site. You could embed YouTube videos on your site. Have the first 30 minutes be a YouTube video. Do some magic coding behind. Have the second part be flipped to video on your site that has the uncensored version. Like,
you would think that would work with a lot of people, but I don't think a lot of people have those diehard fans for them to do that. I think a lot of people like I don't want to. Is it centralized type?
Yeah. Because
Like,
you could go one place, get all the content.
get all the
want to
content you want. Like,
you don't have to go somewhere else or whatever.
right? Like if I want to watch, Bill Greenleaf. I don't know. I just named something. Bill Greenleaf.
Right.
On YouTube, and then Johnny Two Toes is on YouTube. Both of my favorite content creators.
Right.
I don't want to have to go to Bill Greenleaf's website and then go to Johnny Two Toes website. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work. So it centralizes the content.
Right.
I think this is just my opinion. I think it's going to be a huge backlash between the content creators and YouTube, and I think they're gonna be more lenient.
I think YouTube is gonna start letting content creators offer subscriptions. You put all your custom behind your subscription, and then
do they already have that?
They might, but I think that's how it should be done. It's like, all right, as a YouTube content,
I know they have the subscription thing on Instagram,
right? Yeah. Do whatever you want behind your subscription. People are signing up and they're paying to be a part of your subscription. Talk and do whatever you want. I think that would be the best way for YouTube to handle it, and they just might be positioning themselves to make that possible and make that.
But then that's almost. I mean, I'm about to say it's very much Instagram like, and you might as well get a Patreon at that point in time, though.
Not necessarily, right?
If YouTube gets that feature, does that eliminate Patreon?
It could. It could, because if I'm not like on Patreon a lot, so I don't know if they have a free version and then a paid version. But I think it could. Our Patreon will have to do something to keep themselves relevant and reinvent themselves. Like Instagram has reinvented themselves so many times, right? They go see someone else being successful, they find a way to put it into their platform.
Instagram, one thing Instagram gonna do is steal some ideas, okay?
Is it stealing?
Yes. I mean, is it right or wrong? That's subjective, but it's stealing.
Well, I mean, but I think it's just being a good business person.
Business has no for morals most of the time.
Business has an ambiguous sense of morality.
Yeah.
So they're going to censor you from cussing,
but
this person over here, this company over here doing something good, I can't buy them. All right, I'll just I'll take their features and put it on my platform.
Or I'll create something. I'll create the problem and then solve it.
Yeah.
To make me money.
Yeah. What? Like why not?
Okay, and then this, perfect segue. This goes into the one of the topics on the show is F your feelings.
Right.
I brought this up to you yesterday, and when you hear F your feelings, what does that mean to you?
At first glance, or at first thought, F your feelings is like, I don't care about what you think and how you feel. Mm-hmm. Deal with it.
Right.
Too bad.
Right.
It's on you, bro.
Right.
That's kind of like.
That's what you got from it.
That yes.
Okay.
But when you said it, I was like, this got to be deeper than what you said, because everything we've talked about so far, it ends up being like way deeper than I expected it. Right. And how it looks is like,
and that's just like a little snippet on how I think in general.
Oh no, I believe it. You're very analytical. This plant in there, should I move that plant? I should move that plant.
You should move that plant. Yeah. It's not a weed plant. It's a dying plant that I got from. Put it on the counter over there, because if that falls, I gotta vacuum all that stuff up. But yeah. For the people who know me, for those who don't, I'm a very analytical person. Like, I think things out before I even say it, and I have to stop getting frustrated with people because they say the problem that I already solved in my head. They just got to do it. I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna do this X, Y, Z. But what about this? I already planned that out.
Right.
Just listen.
Right.
I get frustrated with people because it's like, just trust me. I won't steer myself wrong, and I'm a part of this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it, like I'm not. I promise you, I'm not.
I have that same problem.
Yeah, I know.
I have that same problem. My boss was like, I understand that you're a need to know type person, but share more information with people. I'm like, okay,
go. Right?
Okay. I'm like, you right.
But F your feelings.
That's
your
how I be
feelings.
feeling.
But I'm saying like you was saying like you know me, I'm a very analytical person. Now, what idea did you get from that after thinking about it?
After thinking about it,
Yeah.
it almost makes you feel like, just thinking about it right here, like, take your emotions out of the situation and let's just do this. Like, I think right. It's like, just take your emotions out of it. It's not about your emotions, not about how you feel or anything. It's about, let's get this done. Cause like, I'll be real. If even like us shooting this podcast, this is however many episodes in we are, there's plenty of things I could probably be in my feelings about.
Right.
Plenty of things.
Right.
But it's like, we just trying to get this done. So
Right.
I'm not worried about the feelings. I'm worried about, are we getting something done? Are we producing good content? Am I learning and being better? Like,
I mean, good content is subjective. So
right.
I mean, are we producing content?
Right.
And
that's bigger.
You know what I'm saying? That's the most important part, is producing content, because there'll be 100,000 people that may like. Should I sit back? There'll be 100,000 people that may like this video, and then there'll be another 100,000 who may not like it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's exactly what I meant when I say F your feelings. And I mean that in every facet of life, like relationships, just getting things done. F your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we built this podcast to help people elevate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether we BSing or not, whether, we having fun days when we talk about nothing, but we built this platform to have dialogue about just self-growth and elevating and provoking thought. Yeah. So with F your feelings, when I tell people that, I notice sometimes people will get upset. And they like, well, my feelings matter, this and that, this and that. It's like, dog, and it goes back to what we were just talking about with the business thing. Like, is it morally right? Like, business don't got no morals. Like, business is about, you know what I'm saying?
About getting it done.
About getting it done. So if I adopted this ideology of F your feelings, because, and that's why I get you get shit done. Like,
bruh.
I'm like, yeah, because F my feelings. F the fact that I might be tired. F that it's going to take me away from something or somebody. F if it's going to make me use up my time. Like, I don't care about none of it. F it if I got to spend money on it. Like, my vision is more important than my feelings.
Right.
Because some days I'm not going to feel like recording. Some days I'm going to feel like not creating. Some days I'm going to feel like I don't want to do it. But those are the days that I have to do it. Right. Because F my feelings, I have to be consistent. In order for me to grow and get results that I want, I have to be consistent. Like, let's look at it relationship wise now.
Okay.
Before we do business, let's keep it on business real quick. Business wise, in order for you to get things done, F your feelings. Like, if your boss call you right now and tell you to do something,
I just gonna do it. It's like, it is what it is.
It is what, but you can't complain about it. I mean, you can complain about it, but you can't get into your feelings to where it's like, I'm not doing it.
Right. It still got to get done.
Like, I don't want to do it, so I'm not doing it. Like, I don't feel like doing it, so I'm not doing it.
Yeah, nah. That's not going
to like, it's my day off, because your job is different than my job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be like on call. Ready to go. Ready to go. Pay you
That's what they pay me for.
They pay you for it. You know what I'm saying? They pay me for it. Yeah. So business wise, F your feelings is very, to me, it should be black and white, but it's really not. Now, relationship wise, it's a little bit different.
Well, I think the difference between business and relationship, at the end of the day, I always tell people, they're paying you to do this.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how you feel about it. And if you feel that strongly about it, go get a new job somewhere else. That's usually how I feel about the business part of it. But saying F your feelings in a relationship, that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, because I think some people will look at a romantic relationship in the sense of, I'm here because of my feelings.
Do you think love is enough to sustain a relationship?
No.
Then why? Then you can apply the F your feelings to that.
No, I agree. I agree to an extent, but I'm not about to date someone that I don't have any feelings for.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course not. Like,
Yeah, but if you look at it as I love this person and I want to make it work, so F my feelings, I'm gonna go through the trenches to make it work and figure it out. Yeah, totally behind that.
and that's what I mean when I say F your feelings, because I don't believe love is enough to hold a relationship together. Because I have people in my life, family members, that I love that I just can't be around.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Or I have people in my life that I just love that I can't be around.
Absolutely.
Just because excuse me, just because I love you, don't mean I have to be with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I believe relationships is love is a part of it.
Right.
And there's a bunch of different components, like also compromising. And that's when it comes to F your feelings. Because say if your partner, you know what I'm saying, you with your girl, whatever the case may be, she's like, babe, I want to do this, but you know you don't like doing this. Like whatever X is, let's do X. And you be like, I don't like that.
Right.
She's like, well, I love to do it. And it's like, you don't want to do it because you'll feel like, babe, I'm not doing that, this and that. But do you compromise or do you say F your feelings? Or do you say F your feelings and compromise? Or do you just say, I'm not going to do it?
It depends.
Because that's going to hit the relationship as well. Because it's
Right.
going to make her feel some type of way.
Right. I think so.
My throat dry as hell. What's going on?
Those are the type of conversations you have to have
With your
ahead
partner.
of time.
Right.
Like you talk about the things you like and don't like.
Right.
And in a situation like that, if it's a situation to where, hey babe, let's do this, and it's the first time it's happening, and I know I don't like that,
Right.
but I haven't brought it up in the past before,
Right.
I might just go ahead and do it, keep the peace for the day. After it's done, be like, hey, had fun with you and whatever, but I would prefer not to do that again,
Right,
and
right,
hear
right.
the reasons why.
Right.
Or if it's something that, or I would go to her and be like, hey, is this something that's vital to you?
Right.
If it's something that's vital, then I try to find a way to compromise it.
So you're an adult. You communicate.
I mean,
but no. I get what you're saying, but a lot of people don't communicate. A lot of people have a hard time communicating how they feel to their partner.
yeah,
Which I feel
statements.
like a lot of people should do.
Right.
If you care or love that person, you know what I'm saying? You should communicate how you feel in a nice manner. I'm not the biggest person with communication. I like to communicate, but my communication comes off very strong.
Yeah.
So I'm learning how to like talk.
Right.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
a lot of people don't know how to communicate with themselves either.
Yeah.
Like that's step number one. Learn how to say, I feel like this, and identifying your feelings.
Right.
And then saying, all right, just because I feel like that doesn't mean I behave this way.
Right.
So
Understood.
that's where that
Understood.
F your feelings comes in with talking to yourself.
So is the F your feelings the same as a relationship in business and a friendship as well? Or
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah. These are all.
I think I'm a little bit more strict on the F your feelings when it comes to friendship. Because I'm not compromising if I know you messing up.
Right. But I don't think you would compromise in a romantic relationship if you know they messing up either.
God, yeah, that's because you know me. Yeah.
Like, but that's
Yeah.
anybody. Like, well, not anybody, but most people.
No, because you tell me sometimes you be like, cousin.
Yeah.
This I ain't gonna say what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
this and that. I'll be like, nah, like I'm no. You be like, but still,
Right.
That's a part of saying F my feelings.
Yeah.
Whether I'm
yeah.
right or wrong, it's still F my feelings because the bigger picture here is to make it work. And
Right.
if how I'm coming off is not making it work, then
You gotta try something different.
I have to try a different approach.
Right.
So then again, it's F my feelings as well.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, so I think what it boils down to, so as much as I try to separate business, personal, friendship, and all that, and as much as people try to separate all these aspects of life, they all kind of overlap and bleed into each other.
Right.
Not in a major way,
Yeah.
but it's really hard to be one way here, one way there, one way here. That's why when you see I believe when you see like a powerful CEO and they're a jerk at work,
Yeah.
they're usually a jerk at home. They're usually a jerk when they're driving.
Right.
They're usually a jerk around their
Just a jerk off in life.
right. That's just who they are, right? So where I'm going with that is the F your feelings part. the amount that you say F your feelings will depend on how valuable that relationship is to you and how important it is to keep that relationship.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So in a romantic relationship with a significant other that you're trying to spend your life with, you may step on your feelings a little bit more and say, all right, I'm just going to deal with this because of this bigger picture.
Yeah.
A job, you might be like, nope, they made me feel like this. I'm going to go get another job somewhere else because that relationship isn't as valuable to the person or wouldn't be as valuable. So you say, you know what? I'll take F my feelings for 100, but you try to hit me for 200, I'm gone.
Right,
but in a relationship, F your feelings for 1,000, you be like, no problem. I got you because I want to stay in this relationship. So I think
it's basically what you want it to end. What results do you want it to end?
What the end result?
Because I'm and you know, from working, like, we family, so we have that relationship. But from working together on this network, like, I'm a very F your feelings type of person. Let's get this.
Let's get it done.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
I get obsessed with it almost.
Yeah.
Like, I get obsessed with the process and how it's going, and like I get excited from creating content, bro.
You get excited from creating content and seeing results. You're a very results oriented person. You're like, oh, this is going up. We're doing this. It doesn't matter.
It works.
Yeah. and that's why I deal with you, because like sometimes I'm too analytical.
Said, that's why I deal with you. Hold on, you don't deal with nothing. You stuck with me now, nigga. If it's up, it is up. It is up.
Yeah, no, but yeah. So F your feelings. I think it's a scale, and the person I got to figure out, the people out there got to figure out, how's it going to be beneficial? Because sometimes it's beneficial to swallow your pride, swallow your feelings, swallow your emotions, and say, you know what? I care about this person so much. I need to be understanding for them right now and give them patience or give them grace.
Right.
Learn how to communicate with them and say, hey, this happened. I felt this way. I handled it this way. But moving on in the future, can we try something new?
Right.
But I think people putting their feelings aside and concentrating on whatever's closest to facts is important. So yeah, F your feelings is a very relevant thing sometimes.
I mean, I feel like it applies all the time. Because whether I'm talking about me or the other person, somebody has to take the F your feelings. They have to be that person to, you know what I'm saying?
Right, like, but sometimes it's not F your feelings. Because if someone is in tears or they're hurt and they need comforting and consoling, it's not like F your feelings, let's get this done right now. Sometimes there are times
when we need someone, I will be by your side.
All right, I'm gonna head out.
Okay, there are times.
But seriously, there are times where a person needs to be allowed to be in their feelings and be with their feelings.
Yeah.
Now,
but do you get what I'm saying? Though?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But I was watching Instagram. Instagram, the internet is the black hole is scrolling, just
it's
like
a place. I tell you.
But the person was like,
every website you can scroll down.
Yeah, it's on purpose because that's how they keep you hooked. That's how they keep you hooked.
TikTok, Instagram,
right? That's how Facebook.
Look, messages, notifications on the phone.
Just how they keep you hooked.
Oh Lord!
But I was watching. The guy was like, "Oh, so I give my kids 5 minutes to be negative. After that 5 minutes is over, we done being negative. It's time to move on."
That's good.
So sometimes I think it's like a person needs that space to be with their feelings, but it shouldn't be a prolonged thing. It shouldn't be like a was me for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 5 weeks, 10 weeks. It should be like, all right, let's live in these feelings. I got these feelings. Now, how can we move forward, and how do we need to move forward?
I'm laughing because I was listening to a podcast and they were saying like how it just reminded me. This is a Sidebar. It just reminded me is that they said women don't like men who cry, basically. And they was like, she was like, if somebody in his family passed away or whatever the case may be, she said he got 1 week to cry. 2-3 weeks crying, something wrong. You got to pull your shit together, basically. That's what she was saying. And it made me just laugh because when you were saying, it's just, sidebar.
I'm going to hit on that sidebar just a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
If a man has somebody pass away in his family and he's crying for 2, 3, 4 weeks, he crying about more than just that person that passed away. That's years of pent-up emotion that has not been addressed, in my opinion. We could talk about that later, though. Because I feel like that's a whole... That's in a whole nother...
Write that down. Write that down.
What? Men crying?
Men crying and the reasons why, I guess you could say.
Men crying.
Because I feel like if somebody mom passed away, it's just like, I don't think you ever... recover from that. Like I've heard people who have that, who had that situation happen, and they say it's a void that you just never feel. But we can get to that.
We'll address that.
We'll address that later.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm about to say, who texted me, your ass?
You said text you the idea, so we don't forget.
And speaking of crying, they looked at it as a feminine trait for them to cry longer than a certain amount of time. And the men on the panel were saying that too. I forgot what the podcast was. Shout out to that podcast. Shout out to y'all. They were saying it's very feminine to cry that long.
Is this our segue?
What is masculinity to you?
Shit, I don't know. That's tough. I mean,
anything.
Look, like masculinity.
What's a masculine trait? Let's just say that. What's a masculine trait?
Not being emotional. Like not crying, not showing a whole bunch of emotion.
I don't think that's masculine. I think how you show the emotion is masculine. We all have emotions. That's not gonna stop.
Well,
we talked about that last episode.
But what I'm saying is not crying and all that. I guess what I'm saying is not showing emotion is a quote unquote, from what my understanding, is a masculine trait.
Yeah. Do you believe that?
Do I believe that?
Yeah.
No. I think
no. Absolutely not.
No. I think, I guess for me, a personal definition of masculinity would be knowing who you are and walking in that.
Walking in your purpose.
Walking in your purpose, right. Being who you are and owning up to it, regardless of what people say, regardless of how others feel about it.
Okay.
Right. But I think a lot of times masculinity and femininity is so what would we call like it I think it surrounds certain traits or activities. I think masculinity and femininity are traits that people describe a lot. So I don't know. Like, yeah, Google it. And it's funny that you asked me what I think it is, because I
just wanted to know what you thought it was before I was like,
before you Google it.
Before I Google it and get all this shit.
And Google get their stuff from Webster. I don't know.
It's all subjective to be.
Right.
I mean, I know they have, some points are similar.
Right.
But it's all subjective. But it says masculine energy. I don't have my glasses. Jesus Christ. Let me zoom in. Full of direction and purpose and a linear or rigid energy, which kind of what you said. Stimulated by challenge. Masculine energy is driven by his own direction. It is impersonal and goal oriented without feelings. So no feelings. And that goes back to what I said. F your feelings.
Right.
Masculine energy is about transcending emotion into awareness. That's what I was going to say.
Transcending emotion.
Remember I said that emotion, it's not how you show it. I mean, it's more about how you show it than actually how you feel about it. because we all have emotions.
Right.
Makes big things small. For masculine, it's easy to let go. Well, I'll sit my feminine energy on that because I don't let nothing go. I remember everything. Masculine energy is compartmentalist and focuses on one thing at a time. I'm probably my feminine energy because I'll be everywhere just thinking. Look for a problem to solve. Definitely me. So I guess that is masculine energy.
Ooh. That's funny that you read that. Like, I feel like I have a lot of those traits.
We're masculine men. We may come off like different,
right?
But we're masculine men. Like,
what's feminine?
Feminine energy, and this is just masculine versus feminine energy. Shout out to what website is this? TheFeminineWoman.com. Shout out to y'all. Free flowing, full of life and energy. She is like the ocean. They put she in quotations. Stimulated by praise. Feminine energy is moved by love and emotions and intimate relationship. About existing in the body and its sensations and feelings. Makes small things big. Hangs on to everything. Feminine energy is about flow. There is no such thing as interruption. Looks for love. Now let's see another one. Let's go to one more chart.
That's interesting.
This is on Pinterest. It says masculine energy is logical thought, mind, decisive action, risk-taking, achieving, controlling, competitive, intellectual, giving. Feminine energy is intuitive feelings, senses, creativity, nurturing, experiencing, being, collaborative, expressing, receiving.
It's interesting. Those are similar.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's all different.
It's subjective, but it's pretty much the same. So I think this next topic is have we dropped the next topic yet?
No. You ain't even gotta say that. We're just gonna go right into it. But let's stick on this real quick. Because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you do this, it's feminine." Like a lot of what they call themselves, alpha males.
Yeah,
they would say me for the simple fact I have nose piercings and I dye my hair is feminine energy. And I said that you could say that,
right?
But if you go back in time and you do your research,
right?
The kings and the emperors,
pharaohs
and all of that, the pharaohs,
they did this stuff.
They did it. They wore the gold,
right?
They had the nose piercings, the ear, the gauge. I have gauges. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they did all that,
right?
And you in that time, if you were to call them feminine,
your head would chopped off.
Your head would be rolling down that hill over there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't look at fit. Okay, there's a physical masculine and there's a energy masculine, and that's feminine as well. Feminine, physically, and feminine, energy. I believe you can pick and pull from traits on each side.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's 100% one or the other.
These niggas try to be.
See, like monetization.
Yeah, but it just irks my soul because it's like everybody wants to be this tough guy, this masculine man, which is cool. Be that, but you'll run into somebody. Well, I mean, first off, my energy doesn't even exude feminine. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can tell you that,
right?
But you might look at me and say some crazy, and heads will roll. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with those consequences that come along with that. Because, I
feel you.
We're going to get into that.
That's a different topic for a different day.
Different topic. That's a different topic for not even none of this podcast.
What's interesting though? Like, as we were talking about this, and one thing I like that we do, we talk about something and then we get like a definition.
Because I want us and the audience to know what we're working from. Because if we just working from our own perspectives, it can come off as like...
You got to have a shared definition.
You know what I'm saying? We got to have a middle ground to where we be like, we can always... Foundation.
Yeah.
You can always go back to foundation.
Right.
So we look up the definition, figure it out, and then we can talk about how we how we perceive it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. You say you got some of those people that's like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to be all extra alpha or extra whatever.
Have the red pill, that's what they call it.
Do you think that's toxic?
Nah, you trying to get me there. You trying to get me. Cause we had this conversation offline and he said, Jake.
Well, but based on the definition.
I'm doing my Denzel impression. Oh. You gonna be playing basketball and Pelican bang when I get through with you. But go ahead.
No, I mean, because like based off the definition and then based off what the vibe that I caught off what you said, it's like, I hate when people do that. Like, why are you being extra? I think it's almost like that being extra.
You think that's the toxic part?
That's the toxic part, right? Because being masculine based on those definitions, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's when
I'm looking up the definition of toxic.
Yeah, let's do that.
But go ahead, I'm still listening.
Well, I think when something's done to the detriment of others, it's toxic.
Very harmful or unpleasant, persuasive, poisonous, relating to caused by poison. Okay. Denoting securities that are based on toxic. Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. Just basically just gives that poisonous. Relating to the cause, very harmful, unpleasant.
When someone's acting like that, that's unpleasant, though, right? It's not necessary. I think when something's done when something's overdone or to the detriment of someone else or something like that, that's when I think it crosses into that toxic part. Right. So maybe, just maybe, I've used that phrase "toxic masculinity" too much.
Yeah, because you said something that I did was toxic, and I was like, nigga.
It was like, stop.
Like, what?
Come on with the
monetization, man. You're right. Like, it ain't even a monetization. I just want to be better.
Be a better person?
I just want to be a better person.
Put more positives out.
I mean,
into the
world. I just don't want that word. I just don't want to use that word no more. Because I use it a lot. I noticed I use it a lot. Toxic nigga energy.
What's the X of that? Can I get out of here?
Okay. But no. But like when a lot of women use the word toxic masculinity, they use it as when a man is being a man.
Right.
Because men, we will talk things out.
Right.
And we can go left or we can go right.
Right.
And we are okay with whatever.
We're going to deal with the consequences.
Right. Now, when talking to a woman, if we are how we talk to men, to women, they say, and not all, but they would call that toxic masculinity. But it's like, no, because me and you can go at it and we could be like, cut the cameras off. We can step outside.
Right.
If me and a woman goes at it, it's not that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, because I think that's because a man and woman are coming from two different places. And I think a lot of times when my assumption, I don't know.
And we speaking off our perspectives and how we view things. We could be wrong. If you think we're wrong, comment in the comments section.
Well, not only that, like a lot of times when we have these conversations on camera, like one, it's the first time we're having them.
Yeah, so that's because I'd be like, stop.
So I'd be thinking through it, like on camera. I'd be like, man, you know what? Maybe I was wrong, or maybe this.
But it's a natural. We want that
to be natural
reaction. Yeah,
I think a lot of times though, the toxic part probably comes when someone is putting something on someone else, if that makes sense. Like I think it should be like this, so you should think should be like this. I think that's where the toxic part comes in. And maybe that's like, and maybe sometimes women, from the experience you're telling me about, maybe that's what women are experiencing, that the man, when they're having that conversation, is trying to put something on them. Whereas, like, you could tell me, no, I think it should be like this. And I'd be like, I don't care what you think.
But that's still me putting something on you.
Right, but I think how I perceive it is
It's
a little
different.
bit different than
But-
how they
But so
could perceive
again,
it.
if I'm talking to you and then I talk to a woman in the same manner, to me it's not toxic. It's just I'm being a man.
Right.
And yes, it may come off unpleasant to
Mhm.
you, but you have to respect the fact that I'm a man, and that's
Right.
how men talk.
I
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Okay.
I'll take it a little bit deeper than that though, right? Know your audience and know who you're speaking with and be able to communicate with, like, I'll take it to coaching, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
When there's a coach, the coach will go be like, da da da, do it this way, do it this way. Not the good ones, at least.
Ooh,
the-
football coaches do.
But but I think there's also a time where they come to you and speak to you in a way that you understand,
Right.
and connect with you on your level to bring you to
Understood.
where you need to be.
Understood.
So I think sometimes that's the disconnect.
Balance.
Like, if you know your audience and know where they're coming from and understand, like, that even brings me back to what we talked about at first. F your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you a man,
See how I did that?
yeah.
You see how I did that?
So if a person is living in that definition of masculine energy, which is very analytical, very straight to the point and everything.
Yeah. I'm about 85, 90% masculine.
Right. But shouldn't that same person be able to understand, I'm talking to a person who is very much emotional and flow and all that. So if I speak to them in this way, it's not going to be received positively. So maybe I should learn or figure out how to speak to them in a way.
That's what my other 10, 15% is.
To speak to them in a way that is palatable or easy to understand.
Right.
Because women are smart, men are smart, people are smart, and people could really understand anything they try to understand.
Right.
But in the heat of an argument, in the heat of a discussion, a person may default to whatever is natural and comfortable for them and may not be able in that moment to step back and say, let me understand this.
Right.
So communicating to that person in a way that's palatable to them might make it easier for them to understand. So I think that's where that toxic part comes from, because it's like, why are you talking to me like that? Why are you coming at me like that?
Because as a man's going to do what a man's going to do, and a woman's going to do what a woman's going to do. So it's like, as a woman, you should understand.
But go back to that definition of masculine.
As a woman should understand where masculine or toxic.
No, masculine.
The first one or
the first one?
Okay, which one? Full of direction and purpose, linear, rigid energy, stimulated by challenge. I love challenges. Masculine energy is driven by its own direction. It is impersonal and the goal oriented without feeling.
So just a couple things in that, right? So saying a woman needs to understand a man's going to be a man, but goal oriented and stimulated by a challenge. So if that man or that masculine person, I'm not going to say man or woman, if that masculine person is talking to that feminine person, I think they should look at it as a challenge to solve a problem. And the problem is, how can I communicate with this person in a way that's going to be palatable for them and be easy for them to understand?
So take it on as a challenge, not as
I'm just going to be. And there is that rigid part in that definition too.
Yeah.
Drop that rigid part and look at those other two parts, because being rigid isn't going to make the situation better. Take the challenge to solve the situation and communicate in a way that's going to be palatable to that person that's in that feminine energy.
So do you like masculine women?
Fuck. That's a tough question.
You just took it left.
Like, just went real left with it.
You like masculine women?
Do they look like Beyonce?
They could look like Beyonce. They could look like anything you want them to look like.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm not talking about like physically looking masculine women. I'm talking
I think there's a certain level of the masculine energy that's easier to deal with.
Expound upon that, my brother.
We communicate in the same language. I don't have to try to interpret what I'm saying to a different language.
Mm. That's why I love Bay Area women.
Yeah,
because they understand. They
you're not
speak that language.
Yeah, you're not well, and that's
they speak that language.
That whole monologue I just went on about this and that. It's like the masculine energy, understanding how masculine energy is, because they should be analytical and all that.
Right.
Should understand that masculine energy needs to be interpreted into a language the feminine energy can understand. But if we speak in the same language, that's easier.
So you wouldn't mind a masculine woman, and okay, let's say she's a lawyer.
I've dated lawyers.
That's why I said it. But I'm just saying, like, let's say she's a lawyer, because like they go out and fight cases,
right,
against predominantly men,
right,
male-driven system, I guess you could say,
right.
They have that masculine energy at work, and then sometimes they bring it home,
right,
and they telling you what to do. How do I handle that? How do you handle that?
Sometimes I say, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, watch your mouth.
No, if the delivery is disrespectful or treading the line of disrespectful, yes, watch your mouth may come out my mouth.
Right.
But in some situations, I've looked at people and said, I'm not your team.
Right.
I'm not this type of person.
Right.
I'm supposed to be your partner. Let's communicate differently with each other.
Right.
I don't necessarily get mad. Yeah. I just say, all right, I understand that that's what you have to do to win at work, be good at work and everything. Here,
at the house,
here with us, we need to figure out a different way to communicate.
And the reason why I say this is because you're a very approachable person. So I could see somebody or a woman saying something like that to you.
Oh,
I'm not approachable.
Well, yeah, no.
If me and you standing next to each other, they're probably gonna smile at you before they smile at me.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: I'll be completely transparent and vulnerable on this podcast. I didn't have women try to talk crazy to me, and I've had to kindly.
No DV.
I've had to kindly.
Oh, okay.
I've had to kindly let them know.
You better than me.
This behavior is not appropriate, and we're not gonna do this no more. There will be problems.
Me, I'm like, who you talking to?
Look,
off the gate. Oh, I've learned.
I've said stuff. I've said stuff like that before.
I've learned to tone it down, and I've learned. Even when I was just talking to Amari, remember how we were talking about girls calling the B word. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, women don't even feel comfortable calling me that,
right?
Because I don't even give off that energy.
Right.
I ain't gonna let no man or woman call me no. Yeah. I'm a warn a woman. I'm never gonna put my hands on a woman unless my life is in danger.
Right.
Or my significant other is getting jumped.
Right.
Bitches get knocked out left and right.
we never being monetized. Hey, we ain't never gonna be monetized. We getting started,
so I'm getting warmed up. But I'm saying, like, if y'all jumping my mother or my significant other, my shorty, I'm going to knock about a couple out. Y'all can run the one-on-one, but you get the jump and I'm knocking.
Right.
And then if, my life is in danger, I'm knocking. Because I feel like, as a man, I'm pretty much equipped to handle a lot of situations with dealing with women that aren't physical.
Right.
I also have a tone of voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop playing with me.
I think it's just you set boundaries. That's really all it boils down to. It's not that you're a man or you're a woman or you have this energy or that energy. It's here's my boundary.
Right.
And you are going to respect it if you're around me. I think it's more so that.
The respect level. Yeah.
It's like command and respect.
And I do that from anybody because I give respect.
Right.
So if I'm going to give you respect, I need that reciprocated. And if I don't get it back, I can't. I'm cool off you because I know where it can go. Now, respect, I can go to the end. I'll go to the end over respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can go either way for me. Like, especially in front of, like, my soon-to-be baby girl that's on the way. You know what I'm saying? Like becoming a father, you're not going another man is not gonna be able to disrespect me in front of my child.
Right.
Because I don't want my daughter to grow up.
That's not acceptable
That's
behavior.
not acceptable at all.
Right.
And I would want the man that she, when she gets older and starts dating, to be the same way.
Right.
Respect himself, respect her, and have some type of loving relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? But I stand like respect and like we have this thing. Me and my boys. We it's what is it? Loyalty, respect, and love. And the handshake. Loyalty, respect, and love. Because I really believe that's how. Those are the three components of how you keep a relationship, whether it's friendship, whatever ship, is loyalty, respect, and love. And love is the last part. Because I don't believe love can hold it. Loyalty and respect.
Right.
If you're loyal, you respect. And if you got loyalty and respect, then you love.
Right.
Type. So
that's interesting. I just, as we're talking about this, like, I think for me, toxic masculinity is when you're taking masculine traits and trying to force them on someone else.
To me, that's more feminine than anything.
I mean, what do you mean?
I think if you have to force your masculinity,
I think that's what makes it toxic, though.
To me, that's feminine.
But you could be toxic feminine energy too. Like you're trying to force someone to be emotional, or you're trying to force someone to have emotions that they don't have.
Well, see, maybe it's just me, then I don't use the word toxic. I just think it's like men are being men, women are being women, or you know what I'm saying, like whatever. And this is just me talking for general. I'm not talking about that community.
Right.
I'm just speaking for. But yeah, it's just like you can get what's the word I'm looking for? Radical with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's toxic.
The reason why I say toxic is because when you're forcing something on someone, that is like, that's not healthy.
I can see that.
That's not healthy. Like, it's like, you have to believe this. This is how it is.
I can see
this
that.
has to be your reality too, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
And so, like,
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's why I say when it's toxic, because someone, like, what's a good example? I like to ride my bike without a helmet, right? And that's my choice.
Right.
And someone comes and says, you have to wear a helmet. If you don't wear a helmet, you're blank, blank, blank. Right. I think that trying to force that opinion on me is what makes it toxic. So I don't know. It's tough. Like, I want to use like.
My lips got dry.
Yeah, mine are too, but whatever. I think that's what makes something toxic is when you're like if a woman comes up to me and says, I think a man. Let me rephrase that. If someone comes up to me and says, I think my partner should stay at home, cook and clean, and I should pay all the bills.
Hey, sugar mama, if you out there, I'm looking for you.
If someone says that and then says, I think every person that's a potential partner for me should be like that.
That's just a preference.
It's a preference until it's like, you have to be like that. And that's the only way and the right way to do it.
They set their boundaries. It's a preference.
They set their boundaries. That's okay when it comes to them. But if they're saying that your partner should be like that, and his partner should be like, and her partner should be like that. That's how all partners should be.
So outside of what you're doing, because if you find somebody that's okay with playing that role, then that's you,
right?
But when you tell other people to do it,
that it has to be like that, and that's the only way, it
becomes toxic. What if you're trying to, what if you're coaching? What if you're a relationship guru or something like that, and you believe the traditional ways, which is pretty much men work, women house and kids, and
right,
and you submit to your husband and all that other stuff. But
if someone seeks that coaching out, then it's fine.
Gotcha.
If that coach is saying, this is my opinion and this is how I think it should be, but people are free to do whatever they want, But when it's like, this is how it should be for everybody, no matter what, and if you don't believe this, you're stupid. That's toxic.
That's everybody on YouTube.
Right. That's toxic. But it's just like, hey, this is my opinion. What do you think about it? Or what's your opinion about this topic?
Right.
And then the two people can say, let's agree to disagree.
Right.
Move on. I think that's
But
healthy.
what if the person has, what if the person has the results that majority of people are seeking out?
If that person has the results that someone is seeking,
Like, what if they have a successful marriage, good job, paying all the stuff, they live in a comfortable life, got money. What if they have that and they're telling people, like, if you want to be like this, then you have to be like this?
I mean, that's tough. Is everything, and here's why I say it's tough, because there's a lot of appearances, right?
We don't know what's going on.
We don't really know what's going on behind those closed doors.
Right,
so
right.
everything could be appeared to be successful,
Right.
but it may not be. Remember the clip on the divorce court?
Oh yeah.
He don't look happy.
He don't look happy.
He look angry. You don't look happy,
he said,
brother.
I'm married. He don't look happy.
Right. And then
he ended up on the news.
He ended up on the news.
Delete
Right.
his wife.
Right. So it's like,
understood.
I think that it boils down to like, and at the end of the day, everybody has free speech, and some people get canceled, uncanceled, not
Right.
canceled, this, that,
I
and
don't
that.
believe in that anyway.
I don't believe in the cancel culture either.
Yeah, I don't believe
I think it should be, people should have their opinions and be able to say, I disagree with that. The reason why I think
people should be able to recant their statements as well.
Yeah, people change. Like, I'm pretty
I ain't
sure.
gonna lie. If when we blow up, I'm pretty sure they're gonna use a lot of these clips and they're gonna find my Twitter. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not apologizing for none of that shit.
And
so,
well, and here's the other part.
I might be like, I don't agree with it anymore, but I'm not
Right.
gonna apologize for what I said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of it too is if stuff is taken out of context, right? Because like I've had some feedback even on a couple of our podcasts. Well, the person was like,
what she said was?
It was disgusting. Your opinion and everything. And I was like, I feel like
you were on the wrong.
Well, no.
Video.
Well, it's not only
that. She probably
that.
watched the Ain't Shit Chronicles.
That could
I don't
be
think
possible.
she watched the podcast because we didn't even talk about nothing. That podcast.
I don't know. She said she watched the podcast.
Unless we were talking about the old women. I was talking about sleeping with the old women.
No, it was the first one we did.
I was talking about sleeping with the 50-year-olds.
Yes.
I said I was sleeping with a 50-year-old. It was.
Well, no, I think it was more when we were talking about like gender roles and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But that podcast, you were opinionated in it, but I think you were also open, and you had to take it the whole podcast.
Yeah, I say what I say, but I'm always open to be. I'm always open to the possibility of me being wrong.
Right.
I'm always open. I say what I feel, what I go through in my life.
Right.
But if it's wrong, somebody be like, "Oh, it's wrong." I'll be like, "Okay, I'll take that into consideration." Right. If I believe you in that moment,
and I think a lot of stuff on the internet, they're 30-second clips, they're 1-minute clips.
But it's clickbait. It's supposed to be like that.
Right, I understand that, but
that's how you reel them in.
I know, but here's the thing with that. Someone could be presented in a way that's not accurate to what they actually are. Right? And then I don't know. It's tough. And I think a lot of people change opinions and change.
You change over time. If you are doing right in life, you're not gonna think the same 10 years ago that you probably would now.
Right.
If you're growing, some of the stuff, I don't even gonna say everything, but some of the stuff that you did when you were 19, 20, 21, being 29, 30, 31, is not gonna be like.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
so,
you're not gonna be thinking like a 21-year-old at 30.
What's toxic masculinity to you? I don't think you ever like. Really...
because I don't think toxic masculinity exists until you said what you said and how you explained it.
Okay.
About forcing it on other people. I just thought men would be men. What's the word I look for? What's what I said earlier? I had it in my head, but men would just like overdo what they know.
Right.
What's that word? Now I'm pissed off because I don't know.
Overcompensate? No.
Oh, overcompensate.
It'll come back to you.
Rigid, rapid. Wow, that's crazy. I hate when I forget words.
Yeah,
that's like a pet peeve of mine, just forgetting the right word.
Right.
But when they overdo it.
Yeah. So until I explained it the way I did, you didn't.
Because I just think, because how I looked at it, like I said before, is if I'm talking to a man and I'm talking about men things and we disagree, we are talking in a tone that I wouldn't talk to a woman in. So if I take this tone and talk to a woman in that tone, she may think it's toxic masculinity because it's coming off as me telling her what to do. One, because I have a physical advantage. Me and you step outside, it's even.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Me and her step outside, it's like, okay, what am I doing here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the women who do MMA and UFC. They probably can kick my ass too. But even then, I probably still would knock their ass out. But anyway, that's neither that's neither here or there. It's not here or there. But yeah, it's a different, on average, it's a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think sometimes women use that word when their feelings get hurt.
I can see that.
Like it's to me, it's overused, and I feel like women who have their feelings hurt, or women who disagree with a man, or they don't like his opinion, they don't like something, they use toxic as a way to discredit him
and what's being said. So I got a question about the whole toxic masculinity thing.
Okay.
Do you think it's a problem when someone who hasn't fully experienced the world is presented with some a way of thinking, and only one way of thinking, and not given as much information about the subject to form their own opinion about it?
Do I think it's toxic?
Do you think that's a toxic thing? Like they only get certain.
I don't think it's toxic. I don't think it's toxic, but I think it's ignorant.
Okay. You don't think ignorance is toxic or poison?
I think ignorance is poison to the people who are subjected to it.
So.
But I'm pretty sure if somebody has more knowledge on a situation than the other person, they know they're just being ignorant, and it doesn't really affect them.
Right.
Because ignorance, that's another thing I can't stand. But shit, I feel like I'm
monetization.
Nah, we good. We already an hour in, so they ain't watched this far. It's only like the first 7 minutes or something like you can't cuss.
What?
Yeah.
See, this is why I don't understand.
You got to read the community guidelines, brother. I had 4 Instagrams taken away, 2 YouTube channels taken away, and they blocked me. Oh, was it 3 Twitters taken away, and they put me in Facebook jail for like damn 6 months. So I read the community guidelines now.
I just don't understand. One, that's not a good thing.
It's not. If this is real life, I'll be a felon. But it's not. So I'm good.
So you're a social media felon?
I'm a social media felon. Convict. Social media convict. Absolutely.
This is funny. You're crazy. I'm
ready to get some meat. So
I'm about to go fire up that air fryer. Cook some chicken. So I'm on my diet. I did. I'm on my diet now.
Oh, you in your diet?
Oh yeah. This dad gut. Cause like up here is good, like right here.
Okay, big dog. See?
But up right, the fact that I could do this.
Yeah, I ain't there yet.
Yeah, no, I could do this. Like I could rest something right here.
You got it. It's okay.
That's done. That's a wrap. It's done.
You got until March.
March 19th.
Speaking of wrap, it's done.
It's done.
Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Long Live Mosi.
Oscar.
It's the You Good Digital Podcast. Make sure you follow us on the Instagram. TikTok coming soon. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We out.
Peace.